Citi 97.3. Accra.
94, 95, 96.
97.3 Citi FM. It doesn't get any better than that. Eyewitness News. Be there as it happens.
Citi News.
.3 Citi FM. Hello, good evening, and welcome to Eyewitness News, coming to you live from our studio here in Accra. My name is Sami Wiafe, and tonight I'm here with.
Ejubi Wiafe Akenting.
Coming up in the next 1 hour, 30 minutes.
We are still open for engagement and to call on the GRNMA to consider calling off the strike, come around the table for us to engage.
As Health Minister Kwabena Mintah Kando continues with his passionate appeal to nurses and midwives to call off their strike, we hear from the Fair Wages and Salaries Commission on what they are also doing to resolve the matter. Also coming up, Ghana records 6 new cases of monkeypox, bringing the national tally to 85. Tonight, we'll ask how we are dealing with the virus, and later.
It is all a big performance. Now it will lose over 2 million. Now, I say,
Opposition New Patriotic Party's internal election heats up as Dr. Muhammad Bawumia heads back at Kennedy Ohine Japan over some comments he made in the Ashanti region over the weekend. Stay with 97.3 Citi FM for more stories and this. Also coming up in business.
BOG warns public against patronizing services of unlicensed digital platforms YellowPay and HoneyPay.
Eyewitness News is live on affiliates across the country, around the globe. We are on citinewsroom.com. Talking about affiliates, if you're in the western region, you can hear us on Premier 100.5 FM, Beach 105.5 FM, and Sky 93.5 FM, all in Takrade. In the Bono region, you can hear us on Greener 95.9 FM in Sunyani. In the Ashanti region, you can hear us on Alpha 104.9 FM in Kumasi, as well as Orange 107.9 FM also in Kumasi. In the Volta region, you can hear us on Global 105.1 FM in Ho and Adanu 107.7 FM in Adaklo. In the northern region, Diamond 93.7 FM in Tamale. In the upper west region, Western Link 88.1 FM in Lora. In the upper east region, you can hear us on Source 100.1 FM in Boko and Mike 105.3 FM in Navrongo. In the northeast region, you can hear us on Scrub 101.3 FM in Nankmanduri. And in the Hafo region, you can hear us on Hammers Radio 106.5 FM in Goso. Your text messages and WhatsApp messages are also welcome. You can send us through this number 0549 986 996. 0549 986 996. Ajubi has our first story.
Health Minister Kwabena Mintah Kando has commended allied nursing unions for their dedication to providing essential healthcare services despite the ongoing strike by the Ghana Registered Nurses and Midwives Association. The minister held a closed-door meeting today with the leadership of the National Association of Registered Midwives Ghana, the Union of Professional Nurses and Midwives Ghana, and the Professional Association of Psychiatric Nurses Ghana. The discussions focused on critical issues including their conditions of service and strategies to ensure uninterrupted delivery of vital healthcare services. Speaking to the media after the meeting, Kwabena Mintah Kando reaffirmed government's commitment to fully implementing the agreed conditions of service for the unions.
We are still open for engagement and to call on the GRNMA to consider calling off the strike and come around the table for us to engage. Let me assure you that as a mother ministry, we will continue to behave as a mother. And the ministry is best positioned to pursue the interests of nurses and midwives. And therefore, we will continue to engage to see how we can implement the agreement under convention. We want to call for calmness. We also want to passionately appeal to each and everyone out there to respect the laws.
He also appealed to the striking nurses to return to the negotiation table, stressing that meaningful dialogue can happen if the strike is called off.
Any feedback they have to give us, they can bring it, but most importantly, you cannot be at the table while you are striking. And that is why my brothers and sisters who have met me here today are around the table, because they are not striking. So to exhibit good faith, we still call on them to call off the strike, and then let's all come around the table.
Health Minister Kwabena Mintah-Kando speaking there.
Let's go on to the phone lines and speak to George Smith Graham. He's the Chief Executive Officer of the Fair Wages and Salaries Commission. Also to speak to him on this particular matter of the nurses and midwives going on strike. There's a role the Fair Wages and Salaries Commission is expected to play. Remember, when the meeting was held on the 9th of June, the Fair Wages and Salaries Commission were also part of this meeting that was held at the Ministry of Health. Mr. Graham, good evening. Thank you very much for your time.
Good evening, and good evening to your listeners.
You were part of the meeting that was held on the 9th of June between the Health Minister and the striking nurses. At this particular meeting, what role specifically is the Fair Wages and Salaries Commission playing in all this?
In fact, the meeting was actually called by Fair Wages and Salaries Commission.
Okay, thanks for the correction.
We called the meeting and brought all the stakeholders together.
Specifically, what role is the Fair Wages playing in resolving this matter?
Well, first of all, we are the lead negotiators for government. And therefore, once there is any dispute or any issues with regards to any conditions of service that has been negotiated, if there are implementation challenges, we are the ones who lead in making sure that these issues are resolved. It is for this reason that these issues of delayed implementation, immediately it came to our attention. We called the nurses to a meeting. At the meeting, we made some proposals to them, because clearly they know themselves that the delayed implementation of their conditions of serving had nothing to do with government. It had to do with their own internal wrangling that brought about this injunction on the implementation of their conditions of service. And so when that happened, I quickly came in, because I noticed that their conditions of service is also going to expire just come next year. So quickly, we came in as a commission to request for some adjustment in the implementation and the expiry date of the conditions of service, because the reality is that once you negotiate any conditions of service and there are implementation challenges, if the ERNA were facing implementation challenges, they will come to us. And if as the negotiators also, or as government or the employers, also notice that there are other implementation challenges, we also have an obligation to go to them. So we quickly went to them to be able to sit down and address this issue. That's the reason why we put before them a proposal to attempt to shift the implementation date of the conditions of service. For the rest of the conditions of service, we've agreed. So all we're looking for is a shift in the implementation date, so that they can enjoy the full benefit of their conditions of service. And also government will have some fiscal space to be able to implement the conditions of service fully to them. So that is exactly why we call for the meeting. And when we made the proposal to them, although those who came to the meeting were not happy with the proposal, what they said was that they are not the leadership, so they were going to consult their council and come back to us. And as I speak now, they've not gotten back to us on anything.
After the meeting, we've heard them speak, and they tell us that the decision to shift their implementation date to next year is the problem or the challenge for them. For them, they believe that taking it to next year will not favor them, and they want it to be implemented this year, because it was agreed upon somewhere in 2024 of May. And so moving into another year will be the challenge for them.
Please, the Ghana Registered Nurse and Midwives Association is an experienced union. If there are discussions on the table and you disagree with the discussions on the table, do you go on air? Like I'm saying, I'm sitting here. They said they were going to consult and come back to me. They've not gotten back to us. We have no idea what they are thinking is. As I speak to you now, all we are hearing is what they are saying on radio. But I don't think that is how negotiations are supposed to be done. Normally, negotiations, even as part of the rules of engagement, we refrain from talking to the media and everybody because there are discussions that are going on. Even at this point, we are not negotiating because the negotiation has been done already. We are not negotiating. We are only discussing the possibility of a shift of an implementation date. So if they have any challenges, I think that they should be fair to us and come to us if they have any other alternative proposal. Come to us for us to discuss. But they've not come to us. I have no idea, as I sit in my office now, no idea what challenges they have, apart from what I'm hearing on radio, because they've not formally communicated anything to us.
You have asked them, because I've heard you elsewhere say that they should, call off the strike whilst they continue with dialogue or talks to resolve this matter. But till now, they are still on strike.
We will leave that to the National Labour Commission as an institution that is supposed to be handling those things. But you see, it makes it a bit difficult for us. We are ready to engage anyway because they are an essential service. And so we've not closed our doors to any engagement with them, although they are on strike. So if even they are able to come to us at any given time, we'll consider them so important that we'll immediately have to, adjust anything that we are doing, our time, our schedule and everything, and attend to them. And like I mentioned somewhere today, I was also supposed to be in Geneva. I'm not in Geneva. Immediately Labour Commission called us. I cancelled my trip to Geneva because I felt that this is very important for me to go to Geneva. So I cancelled my trip in Geneva. I'm sitting here to attempt to resolve the problem, and the leadership are not here. I also cancelled my trip to Geneva because this case is very, very important for me to be able to sit here in Ghana and resolve these issues. And so they are so important to me because that is the work we do. And we need to make sure that we have a lasting solution to this problem so that the patients who are going through all these challenges in the hospitals will have some reprieve. So that is what our focus is. So although they are on strike, ideally we are not supposed to be engaging them while they are on strike. But they are not even coming to us. They are not communicating to us. They've not communicated anything to us after our the 9th meeting. Because all the stakeholders, we brought all the stakeholders together. Minister of Health was there, the teaching hospitals were there, all the teaching hospitals were there, Ghana Health Service, their heads, chief executives were all there. We're all there. You said you are going to consult your leadership and come back to us. And you've not gotten back to us, and you are still on strike.
Mr. Graham, how do you react to people who say that the implementation of the single spine salary structure was expected to address all these challenges that we are facing? And so if we're having challenges with still condition of service of workers or public sector work, including these nurses, essential service provided, then there's a problem with the whole pay policy.
That is right. The pay policy had undergone major, difficulties in the past. And that is the reason why, to be able to resolve these issues, government is even thinking about the possibility of establishing an independent emolument commission. Because seriously, as we speak now, the single spine pay policy had gone through major difficulty in the past. And where we are now, there are major distortions that have sprung up again with regards to the implementation of the single spine. And we all recognize that. Organized labor recognize that. All the unions and associations recognize that. And so we all recognize that there's a need for us to deal with some of these issues. There are benefits that we consolidated as part of the implementation of the single spine that have managed to surface in different forms and shapes as part of conditions of service. And these are all warranted. And so far as we are concerned, we are looking forward. We are looking at the possibility of the implementation of or the establishment of the Independent Emolument Commission so that we can address these issues once and for all. The good thing is that the Independent Emolument Commission will now cover everybody from the president to the least paid public servant. And so we'll be able to resolve all the issues within the context of the broader public service. And that is what we are hoping that we'll be able to resolve. So when you talk about challenges with the single spine, I agree, there are challenges. But despite the challenges, we have to make sure that we forge ahead, find solutions to the challenges, and see how best we can shape the system to have a better, equitable, and a fairer compensation system in the country.
Mr. Graham, the expectation of many, during or before the implementation of the single spine was to address the same challenges that you spoke about. Will this new commission that you mentioned also not have or go through these same challenges that we are seeing? Because the expectation was that single spine was going to address these challenges that we are going through now.
Yes, and the single spine did. Just that with time, we've had these challenges. The other good thing is that the Independent Emolument Commission will have some broader, what they call that the Fair Wage and Salaries Commission didn't have, to be able to take certain, what do you call it, decisions. The Fair Wage and Salaries Commission didn't have the mandate to enforce certain things, but these are the things that the Independent Emolument Commission will address. It's going to be a constitutional body, an independent constitutional body, and so it will have the power to be able to address some of the issues as and when they come up. And we believe that it will, to a very large extent, help us establish a more equitable and fair compensation system in the country.
Finally, before I let you go, Mr. Graham, how do you resolve the current challenge that we have now? Because our brothers, sisters, ordinary Ghanaians are suffering because of this strike by nurses and midwives. From where you sit, how do we resolve this matter as soon as possible?
Really, it saddens my heart that they are still on strike. And I'm here waiting for them to come so that we can sit down and talk. The only way we can resolve this issue is to sit at the table and have a discussion. And that is the only way. That is the only way. If even they go on strike and the strike continues for no matter how many, it would take an engagement on the table to be able to resolve the crisis. So we keep appealing to them. They should come. They should suspend the strike. Come, let's sit down, have this conversation, and we'll be able to find a middle ground on some of these issues and resolve them. But they are not coming to us at all. That, for me, is a worry. They are resorting to only the media engagements, and they are not coming to us formally for any discussion. And that's an unfortunate situation.
Mr. Graham, thank you very much for your time. George Smith Graham is the Chief Executive Officer of the Fair Wages and Salaries Commission. Let's just stay on the phone line and speak to Kweku Asante-Krobia. He's the former president of the Ghana Registered Nurses and Midwives Association. Mr. Asante-Krobia, good evening. Thank you very much for your time. Hello, Mr. Asante-Krobia. Hello. Unfortunately, we do not have Mr. Asante-Krobia, former president of the Ghana Registered Nurses and Midwives Association. We're supposed to speak to him on this matter. Hello, Mr. Asante-Krobia, are you on the line? Hello. Unfortunately, we do not have Mr. Asante-Krobia on the telephone. We'll go for a quick break. When we come back, we'll speak to Mr. Asante-Krobia and do some other stories. As you're aware, Ghana is still recording more cases of monkeypox. As of today, Ghana has recorded 6 more cases, bringing the national tally to 85.
Eyewitness News. Be there as it happens.
afternoon.
Oh, afternoon.
Please, Momo.
Deposit or withdrawal?
Withdrawal.
Ah, I like how you say withdrawal. How much?
500 Ghana.
Why allow cash out?
Yes.
I feel ball number no mommy why.
0241 789.
Ah, nice one. Approve.
Please, the agent's name, is it Mipiska Bebre 2 Coin Ventures?
Hey, into what body you now?
She. My alert, I have to verify.
Always confirm the name of the person you are receiving money from before accepting a request. If you receive a request from a friend to send money to an unfamiliar number, call to confirm before taking action. Do not share your number with strangers for the purpose of receiving e-cash in exchange for physical cash, because the source could be criminal and result in legal actions against you.
MTN.
Babalolo Ankasa. Polytank is everywhere, durable and authentic. Stronger brand you can trust. Polytank, we get some more Rambo and get some more Super. And the Polytank we did. Polytank, Babalolo Ankasa. Polytank, the original, always the best.
Oh, jump on now. Go. Ah, go me. At what time will you come back where I don't hear the sound of your car? Why you buy new car?
No, I don't change my car. It be the same ride. It be the fuel way I change. Way one shouts it. Ever since I started using the all-new Excellium Premium Fuel, fortified with 3-in-1 action. Oh, Joe, now my car they run like electric car. No, it's so.
This is the type of fuel where they want to. Cause now engine they cost. Where they want for way if I buy it, go protect my engine. And with the small way I buy, I go drive, sir.
Absolutely. It's like strapping a turbocharger to your engine and giving it a protector. And what they bust my mind self be the 3-in-1 action, no? Excellium they prevent up to 99% of deposit. It be anti-wear, some be anti-corrosion. Won't pay when I open them.
Hey, so where can I find this magical fuel?
Just head over to any Total Energy service station and your car will thank you.
Hey, then make a finish my gobe fast, then rush go Total Energies. My friend, but why your hand my gobe inside?
I give you info. Make a feel the gobe too small.
Go.
Excellium is designed to protect your car engine, decrease fuel consumption, and lower CO2 emissions. Don't say fuel, say Excellium. Choose Excellium, choose quality.
Let your voice be heard on Eyewitness News on Facebook at facebook.com/Citi97.3, Twitter at twitter.com/Citi973, and Instagram at instagram.com/Citi973 with the hashtag Eyewitness News.
You're welcome back. You're still listening to Eyewitness News, coming to you live from our studio here in Accra. My name is Sami Riafi, and tonight I'm here with Ajubi Riafi. Some of your text messages, if not the leadership of the Nurses and Midwives Association has taken this issue political, what stopped them from doing same under the MPP regime? We are appealing to them to go back to work, not for the NDC, but for Mother Ghana. There's another one from Honorable Ayuba from Yabon. It says, why are the powers that be pretending not to hear the very fundamental questions that Kopek Duncan William is asking, the burden of the ordinary Ghanaian? No, I'm not sure this is the subject matter we are dealing with today on Eyewitness News. We, the people from Oyarifa, says the decision to recall the retired nurses back to work is not the best. We only want them to know that they should call off the strike. Let's go back to the phone line and speak to Kweku Ashanti Krobia. He's the former president of the Ghana Registered Nurses and Midwives Association. Mr. Ashanti Krobia, good evening. Thank you very much for your time.
Good evening, my brother.
Your former colleagues, I don't know if you are still, but then your former colleagues have said that government should, as a matter of urgency, implement this agreement that was reached in May 2024. And if that is not done, they are not going to, go back to work. As a former president, you've had these conversations regarding your former colleagues or colleagues and government in dealing with this matter. You think they should still be on strike whilst government finds ways of implementing this collective agreement?
Well, I think so, my brother, because it does not even appear the government has solution to the problem as of now. And the better the minister rethinks the decision of solving the problem by bringing retired nurses and midwives to the facilities, it's laughable. But so he should rethink the decision, come up with a pragmatic solution to the problem, and then the nurses will return to their posts.
Government has said that if they go ahead and implement this particular agreement, which is close to 2 billion cedis, it will throw the whole budget, out of gear.
Because of the complicity of the Minister of Health, the Minister of Finance, the interest of the nurses and midwives was not taken care of, because there had been an earlier negotiation where the nurses picked up a promise from the minister that they were going to put the cost of their demands into the budget. So I wonder why they didn't do it. But if they did it, why are they making this complaint? In any case, if it is going to throw whatever they think is due the nurses, if they honor the nurses, the promise to give the nurses what they want, is going to throw the budget, however they describe it. So what? Because we have a crisis on hand. The crisis that we have on hand, I always say that, and I've always been saying, the solution to this crisis is in the hands of the Minister of Finance and the Minister of Health. And so they should they should put that out, and for the solution, the crisis solution, to be solved. I mean, the nurses are ready to come to work once the minister promises and delivers his part of the agreement by honoring his promise to them. That's the bottom line.
They have the solution. That's why they said that wait till next year for us to implement this collective agreement. Yet your members or your former colleagues are saying no, they want it done immediately.
We are talking about crisis, and he says you should deal with the crisis in a year's time. That's interesting. So I think the minister is not taking the issue serious, because if he actually committed to his promise of dealing with this matter, the action must be now. Because as far as the nurses are concerned, and I am also concerned, their interest, the quantum of money that they will require to deal with this matter is already in the budget, because that is what the minister promised. So you think I'm going to throw that into the eyes of people by saying that the amount of money they will have to go out to pay the nurses will throw the budget out of gear. I don't believe it.
You think government is not handling this crisis, as you put it, well enough?
No, it's not handling the crisis with the urgency that it is required. Because if we are already, all of us are agreeing that it's a crisis, he mustn't wait. He mustn't say that he will deal with the crisis in a year's time or in 6 months' time. So that is my take on the matter.
But Mr. Asante, we've seen the steps government is taking, inviting all stakeholders to the table. So at least let's dialogue. Let's see how we can meet each other halfway in resolving this matter. At least government has been proactive.
We are past that stage. This is not the time we have to go back to the table and do negotiations on what has already been discussed and put into a collective agreement. I'm sure you know what goes into negotiations when collective agreement is being designed, and it is when the employee says, I want this, the employer says, I'll give you this, and in the final analysis, we are heads come together and we agree on something, we put it on paper, and they are signed, signatures are appended to the document. Now, on that document, you have the signature of the representative of the Fair of Government, which is the Fair Wages and Salaries Commission. You have the signature of the Minister of Health, the signature of the President of the Association. And so it is not, that document is nothing but a legal document. And the negotiations they are talking about now, the discussions they are talking about now, have already taken place over a year. And that is why you see the collective agreement itself is 1 year old, let me put it that way. And in a year's time, it is going to expire. So why the minister say we have to, at the time that we will see the expiration of the tenets of the agreement? Is that what the minister is saying? Does he think that the nurses don't think? Does he think that the nurses will have to be taken for granted? Does he think that the nurses don't deserve any respect in this country for what they are doing for Mother Ghana? Come on, the minister must be serious. Come to think of it, that it's even bringing the retired nurses and midwives, and they ask retired nurses and midwives to fill the gap. Can that gap be filled by them? Can they soak the pressure that is have been generated? The retired nurses and midwives themselves are more sick than the patients that the minister says he is bringing out for them to come and take care of. Does he know them? Does he know where they live? Does he know what they even want? Which money is he going to find money to pay the retired nurses and midwives, and where is that money going to come from? He just doesn't want to care about the situation. But I will insist that the solution is in the hands of the ministers, the two ministers of health and of finance. And so they must come up with something that will appeal to the nurses. Well, so suggestions have been offered. I mean, that you could even meet the nurses halfway or 3/4 of the way and say that in a few months' time, we will deal with the matter and take up the rest of the issue. But the minister is not prepared to think along these lines. All he thinks is that come for renegotiation of the collective agreement. In a year's time that you will pay you nurses and midwives, retired nurses and midwives will have to come and fill the gap that has been left. This is the solution the minister thinks will deal with the matter. And I'm saying that is not serious.
Lakoda, finally, before I let you go, there are many who have also accused your colleagues or former colleagues of just being inhumane. People are in the hospital sick. We are told that a number of people are also dying. Just go back to work while you still, engage government in resolving this matter. How do you have people who say that your members are just being inhumane?
My brother, it is not true that people are dying in their numbers. It is not true. I mean, Ghanaians are reasonable. They know that the...
But Mr. Krobia, yesterday, the Mortuary Association of Ghana, made us understand that quite a number of people are being brought to the morgue because of this strike by the nurses and the midwives. So I'm basing my question based on what the Mortuary Association is saying.
Well, if that is true, it is unfortunate, and we all have, fellow feeling for or the development. But let me say that it is not the case that the nurses and midwives are being inhumane. If people are dying, it's unfortunate, but it is the Minister of Health who is responsible for the death of these people, because he has seen it. He has to stop it by meeting the needs of the nurses and midwives, period. And so don't think that people are dying, which I'm saying is very unfortunate, and that it is the nurses who are to blame. Maybe partly, but the Minister of Health is responsible for the deaths that are occurring, the deaths that we are recording. And so he must deal with the matter, he must face it headlong, and if he believes that it is crisis on our hands, this is not the way to solve problems that we describe as crisis. Not at all.
Okay, Mr. Krobia, thank you. Thank you very much. Kweku Asante Krobia is a former president of the Ghana Registered Nurses and Midwives Association. Let's read some of your text messages that have come in thick and fast. The decision to recall our retired nurses back to the health centers is warmly welcome. We only want them to know that the 75-year-old woman cannot work like the young men and women. This is coming from Akapo in Hafomem. From JB. JB says, good evening. On the issue of the nurses and midwives, is government telling us that they can't cut portions of the 2025 budget and make room for the demands of the nurses? Another one from David in Edgeso says, The nurses should return to work. I saw a woman dying right in front of me yesterday. This is Eyewitness News coming to you live from our studio here in Accra. We'll go for a quick break. When we come back, we have more stories.
Eyewitness News. Be there as it happens.
New Kivo Hot Pepper Powder. Loco shoe. This advert is FDA approved.
Oh, jump on now.
Go. Go me. At what time when you come back, we are not hear the sound of your car? Why you buy new car?
No, I not change my car. It be the same ride. It be the fuel way I change. Way one shouts it. Ever since I started using the all-new Excellium Premium Fuel, fortified with 3-in-1 action. Oh, Joe, now my car they run like electric car. No, it's so.
This is the type of fuel where they want to. Cause now engine they cost. Where they want for way if I buy it, it go protect my engine. And with the small way I buy, I go drive sir.
Absolutely. It's like strapping a turbocharger to your engine and giving it a protector. And what they bust my mind, Seth, be the 3-in-1 action, no? Excellium, they prevent up to 99% of deposit. It be anti-wear, some be anti-corrosion. Won't pay when I open them.
Hey, so where can I find this magical fuel?
Just head over to any Total Energy service station and your car will thank you.
Hey, then make a finish my gobe fast, then rush go Total Energies. My friend, but why your hand my gobe inside?
I give you info. Make a feel the gobe too small.
Go.
Excellium is designed to protect your car engine, decrease fuel consumption, and lower CO2 emissions. Don't say fuel, say Excellium. Choose Excellium, choose quality.
Charlie, where are you?
Boss man, I'm at the bank.
Really? But your car is in front of your house.
Bro, my bank on my phone, Charlie.
Oh, how?
EcoBank, bro. With EcoBank mobile app, I can do everything, anywhere, anytime. Listen, I just checked my account balance, paid Ahmed's school fees, and sent money to my grandma at Walwale.
Oh, wow.
Wow. Masa, just download the EcoBank mobile app from the Google Play Store or the App Store, or dial *770# and be your own bank manager.
Manager.
Whether to pay bills or fees, to check account statements, send money across Ghana, abroad, and more, EcoBank mobile app has got it covered. EcoBank Mobile, making everyday people live everyday lives the EcoBank way. EcoBank, the Pan-African Bank.
Eyewitness News. Be there as it happens.
You're welcome back. You're still listening to Eyewitness News coming to you live from our studio here in Accra. Ajubi has some more stories.
The Ghana Health Service has confirmed 6 new cases of Mpox, bringing the total number of infections in the country to 85. In its latest update, the service noted that no new deaths have been recorded, maintaining the country's Mpox death toll at 0 since the outbreak began. Currently, only one person is on admission receiving medical care. The Ghana Health Service is thus urging the public to report suspected symptoms early and avoid close contact with infected persons to help contain the spread. Away from that, former Director General of the National Signals Bureau, Kwabena Idubuahing, the first accused in a criminal case involving the alleged theft and laundering of over 49 million Ghana cedis in state funds, failed to declare his assets as required by law, according to the state prosecutor. This disclosure was made during a case management conference held on Monday, June 9. The case involves 4 accused persons: Kwabena Idubuahing, his wife Angela Ejay Boateng, and associate Mildred Donko, and Advantage Solutions, a company jointly owned by Idubuahing and his wife. They are facing multiple charges, including stealing, causing financial loss to the state, and money laundering. The funds were earmarked for the procurement of cybersecurity equipment. At the conference, prosecutors outlined a comprehensive list of documentary evidence they intend to present during the trial. Counsel for Idubuahing, Samuel Atachi, addressed the press after proceedings.
Seriously, if I should file a motion that they should bring the exculpatory evidence and they don't want to bring it, and the court doesn't order they should bring it, that will stall the trial. And the date is fixed that he's going to give a day for the trial. See, because the judge is also required by law to give facilities and time to the accused person, so they prepare their defense. They shall be well. Amen.
Samuel Atachian's lawyer for former Director General of the National Signals Bureau, Kwabena Idubuahing, Now, the Supreme Court has overturned the contempt conviction against Akwetia Member of Parliament Ernest Kumi. The Apex Court also stopped High Court Judge Samuel Senyor Amedahe from sentencing him. This follows a judicial review filed by Ernest Kumi, who argued the High Court lacked jurisdiction in the election petition that led to his injunction. His lawyers say the petition was filed before the election results were officially gazetted. While the contempt conviction was quashed, the Supreme Court refused to rule the petition itself invalid. Lawyer for Ernest Kumi, Kwame Oredu, in an interview with the media, expressed appreciation of the decision of the court.
By decision of 4-1 today, the Supreme Court has agreed with Counsel Nimako and said that the contempt application, its hearing, and the subsequent conviction on it all has been quashed. So as we speak right now, Honorable Yakumi, he remains the MP, the elected and valid MP of the good people of Akwetia. On the second issue was the matter of the petition itself. On that, the court said that the judge, the Learned Trial Court Judge Nkofridia, can no longer sit on that matter because his conduct has shown that he should not be allowed to continue sitting on the matter. So even though we may go back to Nkofridia, but he won't be the judge to sit on the substantive matter. Thank you. But our main contention at the Supreme Court was that the contempt, its hearing, it's the conviction subsequent to the contempt, the sentencing. If you remember, there were even attempts to have Ernest Kumi arrested, Honorable MP. All has been quashed by the Supreme Court. So as we speak right now, Honorable Ernest Yakumi remains the MP of the good people of Akwetia.
So that the injunction itself also has been quashed. I'm referring to the injunction that was granted on June 6th, ahead of the June 7th.
Yes, it was stayed. The bench warrant was stayed by the Supreme Court to abide the ruling today. So as at now, per the ruling of the Supreme Court today, no bench warrant exists. So everything has been quashed. He's a free man and he will continue his good work as an
lawyer for Ernest Kumi, Kwame Oredu, speaking there. Meanwhile, Bernard Bediakobe, the lawyer for the NDC parliamentary candidate for Akwetia in the 2024 election, says the ruling does not stop the election petition case it is pursuing at the High Court.
Essentially, per what we heard from the Supreme Court, the petition stands, the matter would go on unabated, but essentially it is the contempt that had that decision of the 4-1 majority decision. So we will go back and then we await the reasoning, and then we will advise our clients on the next way. That notwithstanding, there is still a valid petition, which, because you recall that the thrust of their case was that there was no gazette notification, and that has been the thrust of it. Today, the court has dismissed that application. Essentially, what the Supreme Court is saying is that there was actually a valid gazette notification, and so there is still a petition, so to speak, a valid one against the Ernest Yakumi. And so we will go back and then advise our client, but there is a valid petition against them, and we will pursue it.
Bernard Bediakobe is a lawyer for the NDC parliamentary candidate for Akwetia in the 2024 election. Now, Speaker of Parliament Alban Babin has opted not to sanction the MPs involved in yesterday's disruption in the chamber. The incident occurred when the MP for Fijiase Asokore and ranking member on the Health Committee, Dr. Ayu Efriye, defied a directive from First Deputy Speaker Bernard Ahiafo and attempted to make a statement regarding the ongoing strike by the Ghana Registered Nurses and Midwives Association. In response, the First Deputy Speaker ordered Dr. Efriye's removal from the chamber. However, some minority MPs formed a human shield around him, obstructing the marshal from enforcing the order. Addressing the matter in Parliament today, Speaker Babin urged MPs to adhere to the House rules and procedures.
Honourable members, I don't need to talk to you about the powers of the Speaker. They are clearly stated in the law. If you read the Parliament Act 1965 and the standing orders of the House, they are actually colossal, and if fully applied, could be of serious danger to the career progression of members of Parliament. But I'll just say this, that Shakespeare taught all of us that even a dog is obeyed in office. When we sit here, we are not saints. We are not infallible. But there is good reason why we are called right honorable, and you are called only honorable. The Speaker, however the situation, is always right on the floor. When it's wrong, the law has given the opportunity as to how to come back to the same floor to prove that he was wrong. So please, I repeat, even a dog is obeyed in office. I want honorable members to take this in good faith. I know in the light of these events and in defense of the institutional integrity of Parliament, I refer to the conduct of the honorable member for efficacy as a correct.
You heard Speaker of Parliament Alban Babin speaking there. Now, supporters of former Vice President Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia have hit back hard at Kennedy Agyapong, accusing him of peddling falsehood. In a fiery response to Kennedy Agyapong's weekend speech in Mampong, the Bawumia camp said the former presidential aspirant's remarks were riddled with contradictions, disrespect, and dangerous rhetoric. Kennedy Agyapong, in his address, suggested that the NPP's 2024 electoral loss was due to the choice of a Muslim as flag bearer, but Dr. Bawumia's group dismissed the claim, describing it as factually groundless.
In a short while, I will speak to Nana Komia. He is vice chair, or was the vice chair of the Dr. Bawumia campaign team in the 2024 general election. But why are they really reacting to what Kennedy said? Kennedy Agyapong said in the Ashanti region over the weekend. Let's hear exactly what Kennedy Agyapong said, and then we'll speak to Nana Komia on this issue.
Oh, Anna Akufo-Addo comprensa. Akufo-Addo call first one on your 49.3%. When Timian cross 50 nunti, and I saw call second round, and also a pay a time, and I decided here. Emma, Professor Mills, and 23,000 votes. And he be a president. Into a beer person or cultural say, Yansa, my assume a single be a moi, on starting Kabakosam, and will be NTA. A Kufuado, as I call 2012, no. What we need, and when we are a court, Mamuti decision, and was like as oh dear. Meaning some we need, but some see Yamina, may respect the court, no. Into young court. Yakia Kufuado performance the first time, second time, and then you didn't call the third time. And it's all a big performance. Now to me lose over 2 million. Now I saw the country say, Mufani Panenko. Mayadi, but Emrani one, no credit, Yabaka Mate. No crano dear, Yabaka Mate.
You heard Kennedy Agyapong. He's one of the contenders in the NPP presidential primaries if the party opens nomination to elect a new leader or a new flag bearer for the party ahead of the 2028 general election. Basically, he made this particular statement in Mampong, in the Ashanti region over the weekend. And what he's trying to say is that within the NPP history, even though people are given second chance to contest for the presidential slots to lead the party again in major elections, that is not the case this time around, because he said that the former flag bearer, Dr. Bawumia, led the party to a humiliating defeat, close to 2 million vote gap, but then called for him to lead the party again in the 2028 election will not be good for the NPP, and made comparison to former President Kufuor and former President Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo. Let's speak to Nana Komia. He was the vice chair of the Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia campaign team in the 2024 general election. Nana, good evening. Thank you very much for your time.
Good evening, sir.
According to Kennedy Agyapong, there's no need for the party to bring a candidate that ensure that the party lost with close to 2 million votes in the next general election. I've seen the statement issued by the group or the supporters of Dr. Bawumia challenging this assertion by Kennedy Agyapong. What really is the challenge here?
Well, thank you. I agree with the statement that has been issued by our communications directorate.
many of the things that my brother Kennedy said in the MAPO are simply not true, or they are not tenable. He said that Kufuor in 1996 had only 3 months to campaign, and that was why the NPP gave Kufuor a second chance in 1998. Now, that is not true. Kufuor was elected at Legon University in April 1996. That is a clear 8 months before the election. So to say that Kufuor had 3 to 4 months to campaign is simply not true. And those of us who were delegates in 1998 who voted for Kufuor to be given a second chance, and I was a delegate, we gave Kufuor that second chance, or we voted for him because of the hard work that he put in 1996 against Rawlings. We didn't vote for Kufuor, or at least I didn't vote for Kufuor because he had 3 months. In any case, he didn't have 3 months. He had 8 months to campaign in 1996. Now, if you are going to consider the length of time to campaign available for a flag bearer, Professor Dubois, in 1992, he had 2 months to campaign against Rawlings, if you remember. 2 months. So if the length of the time you had to campaign was the issue, then Dubois would have been selected again instead of Kufuor in 1996. Now he says that, Canadian Japan says that Ghanaians are saying that if the NPP brought here Kennedy, the NPP will win the election. I don't know which Ghanaians are saying so, or which poll that has been done that shows so. And then he says that Bawumia lost the elections because of the religious factor, that the Christians simply did not want to vote for a Muslim. You see, if you bring religion into this campaign, it is a terrible mistake. Because what you are saying to the Muslims is that they do not have a stake in the party. So if you say these things and you go and win the flag bearership, what are you going to say to Muslims? Because you have told them that they don't have a stake in this party. So if you win and you are the flag bearer, how are you going to campaign among Muslims? So it's even not in the interest of Kennedy Agyapong or anybody to be doing campaign based on exclusion or where somebody comes from. In any case, Dr. Bawumia did better in over 50 constituencies where the NPP candidates were Christians. About 54 or 55 constituencies where the parliamentary candidates were Christians. Dr. Bawumia did better than them in those constituencies, including some of them were even reverend pastors. But Bawumia did better than them. And also, the Okwe committee that the party set up, when you look at the issues that was reported to them by the party people, religion was not a key factor. Now, you have Dubois losing elections, flag bearer elections, 1992, Kufuor losing in 1996, Akufo-Addo losing in the 2008, Akufo-Addo losing in 2012. If you went to the NDC, you have Mills losing in the year 2000 and the year 2004. Even Mahama as president lost elections in 2016. But nobody said that they lost elections because they were from this religion or that religion. So that assertion that Bawumia lost because, or the NPP lost because the candidate was a Muslim, is not even tenable, apart from it being such a dangerous campaign strategy. Look, if the NPP wanted only Christian leaders, how come that last year in the NPP presidential primaries, there were 9 Christians and there was 1 Muslim? The 2 stages of the primaries, the super delegates, Baumia won against 9 candidates who were Christians, including Kennedy Ajapong. In the main elections with all the delegates, Baumia still won against 5 other candidates who were Christians. So what is the basis of the belief that Christians in the NPP do not want a Muslim candidate? So it doesn't hold any water at all. And
But
let me make this last one. It looks like there's a contradiction, because further down in the address, he says that President Akufo-Addo didn't appoint many NPP people, and that's the reason for our loss. So which is which? Is it because Bahmia is a Muslim, or is it because President Akufo-Addo didn't appoint NPP people? So there's some confusion there. Yes, you can come in, sir.
Now, there are many of us who said that the party is preparing for an internal election, and some of these comments may not be healthy for the NPP, and especially when the party is preparing to recapture power in the 2028 general election. And so if these back and forth accusation and counter accusations come in, even when the party is yet to declare, or state a clear date for the internal primaries, this may be something that may worry the NPP as a political party, and a political party seeking to recapture political power.
Can you ask one straightforward question, please?
Now, I'm saying that, how do you react to people who say that these comments here and there and the reaction and counter reaction deepens the disunity within the party?
Well, like I've told you, these comments are not good for even the people making those comments, for even they themselves. So if you say that the party doesn't want this group of people because of religion or where they come from, what you are saying is that the party is a party of exclusion. And so if you become the flag bearer, how are you going to campaign among those people? So I agree with you that it is not good for not only the party, but even for the people making this campaign strategy. It's not even good for they themselves. And these people, they also call for unity. Now, how do you unite the party by this kind of campaign? So it's not even good for not only the party, but it's not good for they themselves.
Nana, thank you very much for your time. Nana Komia was the vice chair of the Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia campaign team in the 2024 general election. This is Eyewitness News, coming to you live from our studio here in Accra. We'll go for business news. When we come back, we'll do Point Blank.
Eyewitness News. Be there as it happens.
Get the details. Every significant financial transaction, every market movement, and all the policies that affect your business. Citi Business News. Be informed.
Time now for Citi Business News on Eyewitness News. I am Ejubi Wiafe Akinti. Let's settle for the details. The Bank of Ghana has cautioned the public against engaging with Yellow Pay and Honey Pay, 2 digital platforms operating without its approval. In a statement issued on Wednesday, the central bank said Yellow Pay, and a product of Yellow Card Financial Incorporated, is promoting itself as a provider of digital payment services, cryptocurrency trading, and cross-border remittances, despite not being licensed to operate in Ghana. The central bank also flagged Yellow Pay's partnership with Honey Pay, which claims to be licensed by the Africa Diaspora Central Bank. BOG emphasized that Honey Pay is not licensed in Ghana and does not recognize the Africa Diaspora Central Bank as a legitimate central bank. The BOG urged the public to avoid transacting with both entities. Away from that, government is set to declare the Tema and Takoradi ports fully 24-hour operational zones starting July 1, 2025, in line with its official launch of its 24-hour economy agenda. President John Dramani Mahama at the Ghana Horticulture Expo said the move is to boost exports and enhance revenue mobilization. According to him, it is also a deliberate shift toward an exports-driven economy to unlock growth and position Ghana as a competitive trade hub in West Africa.
We're also implementing a game-changing strategy, the 24-hour economy initiative, to unlock Ghana's productive potential across all sectors. And I'm pleased to announce that on July 1st, the 24-hour initiative policy will be ready to go into operation. This policy will provide the framework for continuous production, processing, and logistics in horticulture. It allows perishable goods like pineapples, mangoes, chilies, and herbs to move swiftly from the field to ports to international shelves, minimizing losses and maximizing value. And I'm pleased to inform you that the Ministry of Trade and Agribusiness and Industry and the Ministry of Transport are working together with the Ghana Revenue Authority, the Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority, the Ghana Shippers Council, and other stakeholders to soon declare the Tema and Takoradi ports as 24-hour ports.
You heard President John Dramani Mahama speaking there. Meanwhile, the Ghana Exim Bank is prioritizing support for small and medium-sized enterprises to enhance their capacity for international trade to meet export standards. Sylvester Mensah is CEO of Ghana Exim Bank.
We are especially focused on enabling SMEs and youth-led agribusinesses to scale production and meet export standards. Investments in agro-processing and cold chain logistics that reduce post-harvest losses and improve value addition, and strategic trade financing to help Ghanaian producers access and expand into regional and global markets. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, let us not overlook the momentum we have built. Ghana's horticultural exports continue to gain global recognition. From pineapples and mangoes to chilies, coconut, and yams, Ghanaian produce now stand as a mark of quality. Recent international trade missions, such as our participation in Fruit Logistica, as mentioned by the rep of the German embassy, and Mark Fruit, have secured hundreds of millions of export orders, which is a testament of the credibility and competitiveness of our exporters.
You heard CEO of Ghana Exim Bank, Sylvester Mensah, speaking there. Now, government has appealed to domestic airline operators to reduce ticket prices as the city continues to strengthen against major currencies. Transport Minister Joseph Bukari Nikpe says easing forex-linked operational costs creates a compelling case for fare adjustments. At a high-level stakeholders meeting organized by the Ghana Civil Aviation Authority, the minister asked airlines to align pricing with the improving macroeconomic fundamentals while assuring continued government support to expand the aviation sector.
You are aware of the gains our CD has made. Our CD has appreciated against all the major currencies, and as such, we anticipate that it will trickle down to the service delivery in our country, the cost of doing business in our country. And you know that the domestic airlines, let me say that because there are only two airlines, they have a kind of monopoly that is keeping them to be very tight on their fares. But this breakfast meeting is one that we use to appeal to them to consider what the road transport sector did by reviewing their prices downwards to 15% and urging them to take a cue from that and also do a reduction in their fares. So we are making an appeal to them. It is only my prayers that they will listen to the request and also review downwards their fares.
That was Transport Minister Joseph Bukari Nikpe speaking there. Moving on, developing gas markets in the West African sub-region will require bold regulatory reforms and greater collaboration between local innovators and global industry players. That's the assertion of the Director General of the West African Gas Pipeline Authority, Chafari Kanya Hanawa. For her, there is the need for hybrid market models that merge local and international best practices to ensure long-term sustainability in the gas sector. She made this known at the opening of the 2025 West Africa Gas Summit in Accra, where she also identified competitive and investor-friendly regulatory framework as keys to driving industrial growth across the sub-region.
We at WAFA believe innovation and knowledge sharing must be at the center of everything we do. We must create space for local entrepreneurs and innovators while being open to global expertise. The development of our gas markets will require hybrid models, ones that combine local insights with international standards. That is how we ensure sustainability. That is how we ensure inclusion. Of course, to support this transformation, we must continue to evolve our regulatory framework. At WAFA, we understand that gas is a global commodity, and the regulatory environment must be agile, competitive, and investment-friendly.
You heard Director General of the West African Gas Pipeline Authority, Chafari Kanya Hanawa. And that's it for Citi Business News on Eyewitness News. I am Ejubi Wiafe Akenting. Up next is Point Blank.
Are you ready to lead like never before?
Ready to master the art of strategy and inspire teams that thrive?
It's the Management Bootcamp 2025.
An exclusive high-impact training for mid to senior pros.
Learn from Ghana's finest industry minds, brought to you by Channel 1 TV and 97.3 Citi FM.
From the trusted voices of excellence, Citi FM and Channel 1 TV comes an elite training experience designed to sharpen your strategy, leadership, and communication.
Make a date for the Management Bootcamp 2025 from Sunday the 22nd of June to Saturday the 28th of June 2025. The venue is the Platinum Bay and Passion Base Hotels.
Call 0242-011-424 to register now.
The Management Bootcamp 2025. Lead forward. The Management Bootcamp 2025 is powered by Channel 1 TV with support from 97.3 Citi FM.
Are you feeling tired after a hard day's work? Have you lost your appetite even for your favorite dish? Viral Blood Tonic is a nutritionally balanced, pleasant-tasting tonic fortified with iron and vitamins to boost your appetite and energy levels for high performance. Viral Blood Tonic, easy to take and good for the family. Viral from Danex Iting Starwin PLC. If symptoms persist after 48 hours, consult a physician. This advert is FDA approved.
Eyewitness News. Be there as it happens.
You're listening to Eyewitness News, coming to you live from our studios here in Accra. My name is Sami Wiafi and this is Point Blank. On Point Blank tonight, we speak politics. We talk about the MPP internal election. If you're aware, Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia has declared his intention to contest the party's presidential slot again. Kennedy Japan is also in there, as well as Brian Echampo, Dr. Brian Echampo. They've all declared their intentions to lead the MPP into the 2028 general election. Kennedy Japan was in the Ashanti region over the weekend. He makes some few statements. If you listen to Eyewitness, we brought you some of the things that he said in the Ashanti region, where the Bawumia camp is really unhappy with some of the things that he said in Mampo in the Ashanti region. Tonight on Point Blank, we speak to Kwesi Kwatin. He's a former spokesperson to the Ministry of Education. He's a private legal practitioner now and speaks for Kennedy Ohene Japan, one of the contenders in the last MPP presidential primary, who has also declared his intentions to run again to lead the party in the 2028 general election. Kwesi, good evening. Thank you very much for your time.
Good evening, my brother Sami, and good evening to your viewers. I must add good evening to our viewers and listeners.
Yes, yeah.
It's important to add viewers because
YouTube,
of the YouTube and social media.
Yeah. But how's your boss, Kennedy Ohene Japan?
He's doing so well. So far, so good. We are still engaging, talking to people. You know, politics is a game of numbers. You have to sell your vision, you have to sell your ideas, you have to convince your people. But I mean, it's also important to add that as at now, officially, we've not, the party, based on the party's guidelines and regulations, we've not officially opened the space for proper campaigns. So
he's been meeting party people.
I mean, there's nothing barring that when you go for a funeral and party people decide to come and greet you.
That's another form of campaigning.
Well, I mean, we may not be disputing that, but I mean, if that is a logic, then as well everybody is campaigning. Not about me. I was in London meeting party people. He went for thank you talk meeting party people. He meets party people at funerals, and not only Dr. Bamia. I'm sure other people or other hopefuls who also have interest in also contestants or being meeting party people. You see, the whole point about I mean, living a politically exposed life certainly will expose you to party people, and I think the point has to do with not campaigning when you meet them, but there is nothing barring or banning anyone
having
having engagement with them. But I think the bar has to do with engaging for the purposes of campaign. I'm a party person. Even when I entered your studio, I met other party people that I know them. It doesn't mean that because maybe I may have any intention or...
No, party people, you know, that as in outside people who came to meet you because you are coming
here. I mean, there is nothing wrong if even in your studios there are people who may be affiliated to party or party B. The fact that I meet you and engage you for the purposes of this conversation, irrespective of which party you belong to, assuming without even admitting that you belong to my party, there's nothing wrong with it. But
we are
what the guidelines? Here. I mean, are you talking about journalists?
But here we don't show party colors here.
I mean, Citi
is a professional environment.
Citi is doing so well, and I'm saying that I may know I'm just using hypothetically for the purpose of this discussion. I may know you to be a party member of party A or party B. It's completely different when I come and meet you in your studios. I mean, it doesn't necessarily mean that the fact that you are doing your work professionally does not necessarily negate the fact that you may also be a party person. I go to court, I meet party people. I go to church, I meet party people. So that in itself, the whole idea of meeting party people or engaging party people, there is nothing unethical or nothing wrong with that. I think what the party fronts upon is meeting them for the purposes of campaigning.
Why does your boss want to be president?
I mean, certainly to develop the country. You see, let me give you some statistics. If you read data from the World Bank, for instance, the World Bank estimates and projects that just 2030, your 2030 is about 5 years from now, right? If you look at developing economies, for instance, there will be about 1.2 billion people who will be looking for jobs. And out of this 1.2 billion people looking for jobs, there will be about 800 million of them who will look for jobs and they will not even get it in the first place because those jobs are non-existent. About 400,000 people will get jobs. Of course, when I refer to developing economies, Ghana is also inclusive. Then you may even want to narrow the statistics down even beyond the worldwide concept or the worldwide view and come to Ghana. For instance, if you look at the Ghana Statistical Service, for instance, it says that if you take any percentage, like 100 out of any 100 people, 80 of them that are working are underpaid. You are looking at they taking a salary not more than 3,000 Ghana cedis. Of course, if you want to even juxtapose how they are living, paying rent, school fees, fixing car and whatever, certainly people are literally living, on survivor, not necessarily on any decent basis. Then the remaining 20% are living in abject poverty. These statistics is very scary, isn't it? And if you also want to even deepen the statistics further, I have read researches from Professor Kakari and other researchers who says that if every batch completes a national service, it takes a minimum of 10 years for half of that batch to get permanent employment. The remaining half will still be searching. And other researchers have also stated that out of every 12 people that graduate from university, the state is only able to employ just 2 of them. So we are literally sitting on a time bomb. The American dreams, the UK dreams that people are living, it is not, or it is almost impossible to live a Ghanaian dream decently. And I'm sure that is even the root cause of all these, issues and news of corruption that we hear, because at the end of the day, people have to engage in some, even though not justifiable, it's almost becoming like a means of survival. President Kufuor put it very succinct when he said that if we pretend to be paying workers, they also pretend to be working. And indeed, they will also be pretending to even be having a decent form of livelihood by natural sense they may be taken from the state coffers. So this is what Kennedy Japan represents at a crucial time like this, giving a hindsight of all these statistics that I've given. It is about time that we have to really tackle our unemployment. Of course, like you indicated, it's not time for campaign, but also not shy away of his broader vision, where it is about time that you need somebody whose life, his conduct, everything that he stood for has been about creating jobs, entrepreneurship, and whatever. Because I mean, clearly you are aware that his adult life has been more of job creation. As of now, he's recruited about 7,000 people. Within the next year, with the new factories coming up, the Ashanti Sea factory, the cherry tomato factory, and other factories coming up, he's also going to employ 10,000 people. So somebody who has been able to demonstrate that within this space that he's had to live as a man, certainly has been able to provide jobs in excess of 7,000, and is also promising to add about 10,000 people. I'm sure, I mean, coupled with the character traits and the leadership traits that he has, he's bold, he's not timid, he's assertive, he's very passionate, he's disciplined at a crucial time like this. At a time where, as a country, we missed out on the first industrial revolution, the second industrial revolution, we didn't take advantage, the third industrial revolution, up to the fourth, we didn't take advantage of it. We need that kind of a leader who can leapfrog us into development, where we can also compete with the rest of the world.
How do you react to people who say that it's not too early for the MPP to be thinking about getting a leader for 2028, because the government of John Mahama is just 6 months old? The last election was, a couple of months. Ghanaians are still angry with the MPP, hence the outcome that we saw in the last election. So settle down, resolve all internal issues, and even think before you think about 2028.
Yeah, they are not entirely wrong. They are also not entirely right. But ultimately, we'll still get a leader, and getting a leader is not an event. It requires some process. I mean, it's natural when you are in opposition. Some of these commentaries will come. It's very synonymous with parties in opposition. But whichever way, we just have to be decorum, preach unity, and come together. Even the whole events rolling out is also part of the processes in even fostering unity amongst the party. I mean, sometimes you may feel that somebody has gone haywire, there has been excesses. It's a phase. When you come to opposition, it's a phase that you also move through. So they are not entirely wrong, but bottom line is that everything happening is also part of the processes of even coming together. And I want to also even commend particularly the two predominant forces in terms of Dr. Bawumia and Honorable Kennedy Japan, who has all been preaching peace, who has all been preaching unity for the party, that we all must come together. Because, I mean, I recall when we went to Takrade, for instance, the Honorable Kennedy Japan was very succinct when he put it that if there is no unity and peace in the party, even if we bring Jesus Christ, he cannot win us power. So I agree, I perfectly agree. But everything happening, we must also put it in the right context, in the right perspective. That the kind of humiliating defeat that we had, certainly there will be some level of jitteriness, there will be some level of resentment, there will be a level of blame game. But I mean, ordinarily, I expected that even at the earlier stage, leadership would have demonstrated responsibility, say that, well, enough is enough. I take responsibility for everything. We went through this election. We apologize for things that went wrong. We apologize for things that maybe we expected should have been but it didn't happen.
But Dr. Bawumia has been doing that during his thank you tour, apologizing to party people and Ghanaians in general. You've all heard it?
I mean,
you haven't heard it?
Oh, I mean, it would be very hypocritical on my part to say I have not heard it. But other people have also raised concerns about some form of blame shifting and blame game, which came earlier, which I felt was avoidable. But I mean, I would be very hypocritical on my part to say that I've not heard, even though people feel that part of taking responsibility came in late. But I'm sure it's not only Dr. Bawumia that has even made similar calls. Every other person, even including Kennedy Japan himself, has also even apologized on behalf of the party, taking responsibility and said that, look, I mean, whichever way, we are one great party. Some of these things happen. We went into an election. Unfortunately, our expectations were not met, but we have to come together in one accord, in one voice, and move on.
Your party, the New Patriotic Party, has a history when it comes to election of presidential candidates.
Yes.
A candidate is always given another chance to lead the party in a major election. So people make examples of J. Kufuor, who went twice before winning the 2000 election, and Akufo-Addo 3 times before winning the 2026 election. So if the Bawumia camp is pushing for another chance for Dr. Bawumia to run again on the party's ticket, why is your boss making those statements he made in Mampong?
First of all, it looks like people already have some form of prejudice against statements that are made or that come from the Honorable Kennedy Japan.
Really?
Yes, other than that, what Kennedy sought to do was to give a historical context to a statement that Dr. Bawumia himself has already explained, has already even made in the public space. Recall that it was Dr. Bawumia who advanced this argument, of course, given the historical antecedent of the party, and lay claim that President Kufuor was given the opportunity to go twice, and of course, Mr. President Akufo-Addo also had the opportunity to go 3 times. Except to say that there was also another leg of the conversation of the history that we felt that he also maybe should have brought it up. But of course, I mean, he's a politician. It is natural that even when you are interpreting data or when you are making any statistical analysis, sometimes you can interpret it so that it may also support the case that you are making. So, I mean, we respect that. But when Kennedy met some of party executives in Mampong, he felt that there was also an opportunity for him to throw broader light and put a very wide scope and proper context to what Dr. Bawumia said. That is where he brought in that, yes, it's true, what Dr. Bawumia said is true, but there has always been a caveat to that precedent, and that caveat is on performance. And he cited the instance of President Kufuor, that despite the fact that President Kufuor had a very short period of campaigning, I think there has been contention about the number of months that he had to campaign.
Yeah.
We see, it is true, undeniable, that President Kufuor's election the primaries was in April 1996. But common sense and basic logic will tell you that when you are elected after primary, certainly you have to look for your vice presidential candidate. Assuming without even admitting that it took about 4 months, April to plus 4 months will give you around August, September. So it is not out of place if Kennedy Japan, as part of his argument, said that Kufuor had a very short period of campaigning, yet still was able to make a significant mark of 39%. Very historic. And on that basis, the party people felt like it was commendable. The signs were great, and for that matter, they needed to push him again. And indeed, the second time he had the opportunity of becoming the president of Ghana in the year 2001. Yes, out of the 2000 elections, and then also that of President Akufo-Addo. Context is always important when you're having discussions like this. In the case of, for instance, Dr. Bawumia, he has had the opportunity more or less to project himself for about 16 years, right? For when he was the vice presidential candidate for 8 years.
He was vice presidential candidate. He wasn't the main candidate.
Yeah, I mean,
he's been the main candidate only once, which is 2024.
Yes, but I mean, whichever way, when I became the spokesperson of the Ministry of Education, it was a platform. Even if I was not so intentional about projecting myself, my work alone should speak for me.
Sure.
I'm sure it was even on this basis that I have had the opportunity to be speaking with you on this platform. So whichever way, Dr. Bawumia had the opportunity of projecting himself, whether it was intentional or not, as a vice presidential candidate. Then he became vice president for also 8 years, right? That is cumulatively about 16 years. Then also had the opportunity to also even run in the main primaries and the elections itself. Now just oppose that to also President Akufo-Addo, who's at the time the highest office that President Akufo-Addo has ever occupied in the history of our country was a Minister of State. Yes, still. Do you know the outcome of President Akufo-Addo's election? President Akufo-Addo's popularity alone was able to traject the party and push us into a runoff to the extent that we lost the election at time with 23,000 votes. Same cannot be said about 1.7 million votes. So Kennedy Japan's foundation that he was building was that with all the history that Dr. Bawumia has laid and emphasized, the context is that at every point, the party people, the ordinary party foot soldiers, the polling station executives, they look at performance. And so Dr. Bawumia was right. But the other leg is that if the context or the caveat is that, yes, you are given a second chance when you perform. And very finally, I think it's also important to also add that in the case of Professor Dubois, for instance, he was not given a second chance. You recall,
but the counter argument on that, which I've heard a lot of people on the Bawumia come say that election wasn't a proper election per se.
Oh, there is some
the 92 election really switching from military rule to democracy. That election wasn't.
Is that not? Should that not have even been the main reason why the party people should have even given a second chance? Because they felt that election was not even a proper election, and for that matter, Professor couldn't have been held liable for any loss or the humiliating defeat that the party had. Yes, so the party people felt that. Well, you went and your records were not impressive. Your performance were not impressive. And this is about data. Dr. Bawumia is a man of data. Usually appears that when it comes to data on his performance,
but you know very well that every first-time candidate of the MPP has never won a major election. You know that, right?
Yes, each election has its own dynamics. I agree, but each election also has its dynamics, especially within our circumstance where you can project the next dynamics. And with the 2028 dynamics, it is very certain that the NDC is also going to bring a fresh candidate, right? Again, despite the fact that MPP has never had a candidate who had even won once, we've also had a precedent where in Ghana, 2 presidents in their first attempt had won for the first time. Reference can be made to President Dramani Mahama, who won for the first time, President Rawlings, who won for the first time. So you also have to look at the realities of the moment, the mood of the nation, what Ghanaians are calling for, what the party people are calling for. I mean, at a time where people believe that the trust, the confidence that they have in the career politicians is eroding. I mean, can we also make a case of somebody we believe is pragmatic, somebody we believe is not weak, somebody we believe is disciplined, somebody we believe is passionate? Can we also make a case for that? So yes, we also have to situate this and balance it or just oppose it with the realities that each election also presents. Yes, it is true MPP has never presented a candidate that maybe for the first time has won. But in Ghana, we also had 2 candidates that has won for the first time. And again, me sitting here as an MPP who is a member of the MPP who is in opposition, as soon as we advance that argument and that logic, what it essentially means is that I probably have to wait for the next 8 to 12 years before the party comes into power again, which I'm not ready for. Based on the extension of the history and the logic that we are advancing. If you have to go by that, I probably have to wait for the next 8 to 12 years. And I'm not sure. I have the opportunity, by the grace of God, I'm quite young. Even in the next 12 years, I'll be quite still younger. But there are a lot of people who were literally opposition members, even though we're in government. For the past 8 years, they complained that they had nothing. I'm sure it's also even one of the reasons why they voted against or they did not go and vote. Assuming such a person is 50 years now, the next 12 years, he'll be 62, retire from civil service, and may not even reap the benefit of the sacrifices that he made to the party. And I mean, to be very realistic and not mincing words, politics, even unlike religious activities, you require benefit. Not even necessarily religious activity, but I mean, there is always interest in everything. Even in doing good, we do good to look good. So certainly, I must reap the work that I put in as a party person.
That's all listening to Eyewitnesses, and this is Point Blank. My guest is Kwesi Kwarteng. He speaks for Kennedy Ohene Japan, former member of Parliament for the Assin Central constituency, and one of the aspirants hoping to lead the MPP into the 2028 general election. Kwesi, we have some 3 minutes to wrap up the conversation. But then, how do you react to people who say that in this contest is going to be different compared to the previous one before the 2028 election, where a lot of people have accused or have said that Dr. Bawumia enjoyed incumbency advantage because he was the sitting vice president. This time around is going to be different. But the Bawumia campaign people say that, you know, he's beaten Kennedy before, and it's possible he can beat him again to lead the party in 2028.
I mean, it's natural to expect such remarks from them. Nobody goes into an election with the mentality that he's going to lose, except that the reality does not support some of these claims. Today I saw a newspaper publication from Observer newspaper where the content was, I mean, something that is quite intriguing for all of us to discuss. It says that, for instance, if you look at President Akufo-Addo, who was one of the backbones of Dr. Bawumia today, he's also defected camp, and other close allies who are also working very seriously for Dr. Bawumia in the last elections are also not there. For instance, Dr. Brian Champong kindly does not even believe in the Bawumia agenda again, to the extent that he himself has even taken a position to also contest. My former boss, who I always say he's still my boss because once a soldier, always a soldier. Of course. Dr. Yosef, which is also contesting.
Who was considered as a running mate
to Dr. Bawumia. Today is also contesting him. Mr. Patrick Bama, Honorable Patrick Bama, he was very key and instrumental in Dr. Bamia's campaign. But today he also wants to run against
But
him.
he's not publicly come out to say that.
But I mean, those of us who are party people, we are privy to this information. And I'm even hearing that of Cabinet Japan. So clearly, you should know that some of these claims and remarks that are being laid by the Bawumia team may not necessarily be supported by the facts on the grounds. But I mean, we are one party. We can only wish them the best. I am supporting Kennedy Japan on just one basis, that I am fully convinced, like many young people.
You think he can win the MPP election?
The general election, yes.
Because I heard him say that Ghanaians are asking him.
Yeah, Kennedy has a.
Which Ghanaians are these? He did the research. You guys did the research to know that Ghanaians are calling on him or yearning for him to be the next president or lead the MPP in 2028.
Sammy, they say engineering come from home. I'm sure you will know better because you are a journalist. But of course, some of these things, it will be based on researches. It will be based on the mood of the nation. It will be based on how the public respond to those the candidates who are all availing themselves. So, I mean, you don't need a soothsayer to tell you, for instance, Mr. Mohammed's performance now. They are objective realities, where I can say that if I do A, the outcome should be B. They are objective realities, and we are also mindful of the factors that also affected us in the last election, where we believe that some of them may be entrenched, may not even change in the subsequent election. I don't want to go into the details of it, but we believe that in terms of these factors, Kennedy Japan may not suffer from them. You see, sometimes it may not necessarily be about whether or not the candidate is wrong or a good candidate, but sometimes it has more to do with the circumstances surrounding the candidate and the time or seasons that the candidate is also coming.
The timing is always important.
The timing is always very important, and we are of the view that at a crucial time like this, based on the background that I gave to you, how the growing apathy amongst the youth. For instance, let's even end on the economy debate. The economy, we did well for the past 6 years. The last 2 years, we are aware that things did not go well. Assuming Mr. Mahama, for instance, is able to perform so creditably well on the economic sector, for instance, it rather casts an aspersion not only on Dr. Bawumia, but even the MPP as a party, right? Even though nobody expects that he doesn't perform, because whichever way, whatever happens affects us. So you also have to look at the timing, the exigencies of the moment, the realities surrounding each election and the dynamics, and know that, well, at a crucial time like this, the people or this candidate may be more appealing to the people. And I am of the view that it's just like the running mate issue. When Dr. Bawumia wanted to select his running mate, I have a good relationship with Dr. Opoku Prempeh. Of course, Dr. Yaduchum is also my boss. But in terms of national appeal, it was in
50 seconds because we went out of time.
In terms of national appeal, it was open to all of us that Dr. Aduchum had a national appeal, but did not have a party appeal, and the vice versa with Dr. Napu as well. So within this context, clearly you can see that when it comes to national appeal, when you go to the market, the people that they are calling for, the person that they are all calling for is the Honorable Kennedy Japan.
Because we'll have more of this conversation as the internal election for the MPP, comes out, waiting for the party to, set up a date or set a date for all this. And I'm sure we'll engage more on these matters.
Sure.
This is where we bring the curtains to an end on today's edition of Eyewitness News. My guest on Point Blank was Kwesi Kwarteng. He speaks for Kennedy Ohene Japan, former member of Parliament for the Asin Central constituency, one of the contenders in the MPP presidential primaries to lead the party in the 2028 general election. My name is Sami Uyafe, and this is Eyewitness News, the show produced by Beverly London, Juliana Odame. Good night.